is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
To the Manila Times Digital Transformation Forum with an outlook for 2024 entitled Tech Trends and Financial Forecasts. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause for Dante Klink and the second.
Sir Klink. I'll be brief because I think we have to make time for more important speakers. But before we start, let me just say welcome to today's forum on tech trends and financial forecast. I'd like to, of course, acknowledge our keynote speakers this morning, the Honorable Ivan Janoy, Secretary of DICT. Sir, nice to see you. The last time I saw him, I interviewed him on my program, the SMNI. And also, I see here that we have Mary Joy Abueg, the President of the National ICT Confederation of the Philippines. Let me just mention that there are other speakers who are not here today, but let me also greet them. Mr. Carlos Barrera, CEO of Lazada Philippines, Marlon Solongon, Chief Information Security Officer of Maybank Philippines, and of course, Mr. Lito Villanueva, Chief Innovation and Inclusion Officer of RCBC. My colleagues at the Manila Times, ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome and thank you for making time for today's forum.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Manila Times is proud to have our guest of honor and keynote speaker, Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT Secretary, Ivan John Oy. Let's please welcome him.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction. It is indeed my distinct pleasure to be part of today's Digital Transformation Forum, where technology experts, industry leaders, and private sector partners come together to discuss the emerging trends of technology and chart the future of the financial sector in the country. Forums like this are crucial platforms where we can deepen collaboration and knowledge sharing as we navigate the fourth industrial revolution. Every day, we're awed by the speed and the breadth of technological innovation, particularly with frontier technologies such as AI, cloud computing, data analytics, Internet of Things, blockchain, and many more. These critical and emerging technologies serve as catalysts for economic growth by driving enhanced productivity in our industries and creating more value for both business owners and consumers. Our ability to harness these technologies and all the technological marvels that it provides will ensure the expansion of our digital economy, which in 2022 has contributed 9.4% to our gross domestic product. The E-Economy Southeast Asia 2023 report, a multi-year research program by Google, Temasek, and Bain & Company, stated that the Philippines' overall digital economy is expected to hit $35 billion by 2025. Thus, it is imperative that we embrace these innovations and ensure that Filipinos will be able to harness all its benefits. The DICT is at the forefront of rolling out initiatives to steer towards a digitally transformed and empowered Philippines. Recognizing the potential of digitalization to facilitate ease of doing business and help the government in making data-driven and science-based decisions, we recently launched, actually last June, the eGovPH app with no less than the President of the Philippines. This app brings together various national and local government services into a single sign-on, user-friendly platform, streamlining interactions with government agencies and reducing opportunities for red tape as well as corruption. As of November 24, 2023, we have already over 1 million downloads of this app, and we haven't started marketing it yet. It's just by way of friends sharing with each other the benefits of that app. And of these, 645,000 has been verified. What do we mean by verified? It means that the identity of the person who downloaded the app has been rechecked and has been ascertained to be genuine Filipinos with a corresponding Philippine ID. Out of that number, also another 420,000 of them have been able to generate their digital national ID using this app. As you very well know, the Philippine Statistics Authority is the one in charge of deploying a national ID. And there has been a significant delay in deploying the physical printed national ID. So what we're doing is we're using the eGov PH app in order to deploy a digital version of that national ID. And to date, there are almost 500,000 already received their digital national ID. We're looking forward to formally marketing and doing intensive information campaign very soon on the eGov PH app, as soon as we're able to set up all the necessary infrastructure in order to handle the tens of millions of subscribers that will eventually be using this app. We've likewise partnered with 38 national government agencies, and for today, 3 LGUs to enable interoperability and eliminate the silos in the government ICT initiatives. Included in this eGov PH app are several sub-apps, such as the eGov Pay, the eLGU, the eReport, the eVisa, and the eTravel system. All these sub-apps have their particular function. I think most of you probably experience the eTravel app whenever you travel in and out of the country. It's simplified. You don't have to fill up numerous forms repetitively. The eLGU is our program to help the local government units digitalize their different functions. And the eVisa is to simplify the application for foreigners for Philippine visas. We have recognized the limitless potential that emerging technologies can bring if used for the public good. Since then, the DICT has also collaborated with relevant stakeholders to promote the ethical and responsible use of these technologies. First, we launched the SETPH, or the Stimulating Growth of Emerging Technologies in the Philippines, to promote the country's AI and data science industry. This initiative will provide an enabling environment conducive for innovation to flourish. Additionally, partnering with the Analytics Association of the Philippines, we created the Philippine Skills Framework for Data Analytics and Artificial Intelligence. This framework will ensure continuous supply of AI and data analytics capable ICT professionals that will be well equipped to tackle the complexities of our digital future. We have also actively engaged with international organizations and other states to promote the responsible use of many of these technologies. During the third ASEAN Digital Ministers meeting held last February, we led the adoption of a joint declaration that will enhance collaboration among ASEAN member states on the initiatives that will bridge the digital divide by providing technical assistance, capacity building, and accelerating digital transformation. The meeting likewise embraced the use of emerging technologies such as blockchain and artificial intelligence for digital transformation, emphasizing responsible as well as secure development. More recently, I represented the Philippines in the Pioneer AI Safety Summit, which was held in Bletchley Park, UK, last November 1, where 29 participating countries worldwide collectively discuss how to safely manage AI risks and work towards a safe future for AI. We signed the Bletchley Declaration, where we resolved to continue collaboration in further studying the frontier AI safety and more responsible oversight of this rapidly evolving technology. And I was sharing with Blanca a while ago my opportunity to also meet with some of the AI champions during my meeting, during the meeting at the AI Safety Summit. Elon and Sam was also there. Sam Altman was also there before he was fired and before he was rehired. So our digital transformation journey is propelled by increasing access to reliable internet connectivity. Through our Broadband ng Masa program, we are providing Filipinos, especially those situated in the GIDA areas, or what we call the geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas, with access to economic, social, and educational, as well as health opportunities, so that they can participate in the vibrant digital economy. As of end November, we have already almost 10,000 access points in 4,400 locations across the 17 regions and 81 provinces plus Metro Manila, and 849 local government units across the country. In many of my visits in the remote areas, it's very touching when I see that these areas that have never had any internet connectivity, never had any communications facility, finally be able to connect not just to the relatives, but to the rest of the world through the technology. Our aggressive expansion of internet access across the country will increase the tech-savvy population of the Philippines, which will project to rise to 65 million, to 85 million actually in the next few years. This will drive the increased demand for fintech, for digital payments, and for other mobile payment platforms as we bring the 50% who are unbanked into a digital banking format or environment. We are committed to providing likewise a safe cyberspace for Filipinos. So the formulation of our cyber security plan for 2023 to 2028, and to achieve our vision of a robust and dependable cyberspace, we will strengthen our cybersecurity policy framework, proactively protect and secure the state and its people against cyber threats, and the increased capabilities of our cybersecurity workforce to address these threats. With these programs and projects, we are building an ICT ecosystem filled with opportunities for everyone, supported by the initiatives that will ensure a conducive business environment and promote the development of new and emerging technologies in the country. The fourth industrial revolution presents limitless possibilities and boundless ambitions. Rest assured that the DICT is committed to promoting, supporting, and harnessing all these disruptive technologies to support our country's digital transformation efforts. Together with the private sector and together with our friends in the media like Manila Times, let us harness together the technology that will drive the country's economic transformation and improve the lives of our citizens. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay tayong lahat.
Thank you, Secretary Ivan. Perhaps our next speaker would be able to give us some of the solutions and some of the new measures that can help ease or alleviate these concerns.
That's a good idea. That's actually a good entry point for our second speaker. For our next speaker, it is my pleasure to introduce the CEO of the leading and fast-growing e-commerce platform in Southeast Asia, Lazada, Carlos Barrera.
Yes.
Yes, sir, the stage is all yours.
I'm so happy to see all of you here, and this is a topic that's very, very close to our heart. We've been spending quite a lot of time. I've been here for 10 years, and Lazada has been here for 12 years. And when we talk always about tech and tech trends and the market, the reality is that we try to always focus much more on consumers' experience, and tech for us is almost like a commodity. It's just a way to get this to happen, right? The reality is that the tech industry in the Philippines is very, very nascent, and especially when it comes to the integration of tech, fintech, and logistics. But we're very excited to have been part of this from, I would say, almost the very beginning, and we're really excited about what's going to be happening in the next few years. So I don't want to bore you with a lot of the details or facts. I'm hoping to make this a lot more real and experiential, sharing why do we use tech to make Filipino lives better, and why tech is just an enabler to deliver the best possible experience and to maximize the value for every single MSME in the country and make everyone's life easier, right? So Lazada started with one thing in mind, and that was the one thing that we always use as our North Star. And we've been evolving, but we never really lost sight of that, which is convenience. Ultimately, the one thing that tech brings to the country is the possibility of doing things in a much better, faster, and cheaper way. So our commitment, and the main reason why we have been investing billions of dollars in the Philippines over the years, is to use tech to make everyone's life easier and to drive that type of convenience. Convenience means faster delivery. So we had to come up with the right tech solutions to drive faster delivery in the Philippines. Faster delivery is just extremely difficult when you look at a setup where people still use cash. The postal system and the delivery addresses are very, very challenging. And we had to adjust our app and the way we work and develop solutions just to make these deliveries much faster, right? At the same time, when you talk about tech, it's also about digitizing the entire country. I remember when I first came here, 2013, people were literally laughing at me for talking about these things. We were telling them how every single sari-sari store in the country will go online, how small business owners will be able to upload the entire catalog and all their products quickly just using their phone, and people were laughing. They thought that was impossible. There were all these concerns about how it was difficult for them to have the right connectivity, how it was challenging to get people to adopt and to use. And I really feel that one of the biggest barriers is that people don't realize how competent Filipinos are with tech. We always think about tech as this super complicated thing that people need to go to university for, and they love to talk about these developers with that dark stream, and like they look like hackers and very complicated. But the reality is that Filipinos are great at tech, and they're very, very good because they understand how tech looks like. There has been a massive change and switch in perception over the last few years because Filipinos are huge consumers of social media. They're great consumers of online products, and they actually know how a good product looks like. So what we have seen is that over the past few years, tech has slowly been becoming a great equalizer where people can pass and change from being users and consumers of tech to creators and business owners thanks to tech. So over the past few years, what we have seen is that more than 500,000 Filipinos have become small business owners thanks to online businesses and thanks to Lazada, because they can create their shop within 30 seconds just quickly taking pictures, and they have already experienced e-commerce, they have already experienced digitalization, so it's just very natural for them to run their business online. And that is the beauty of tech. When we talk about driving financial inclusion, driving financial progress, the reality is that the first step is empowering people to really remove the gatekeeper and quickly go direct to consumer. With Lazada, we have removed every single possible thing that we could so that people can easily create their own store within the first 30 seconds and start selling nationwide. This is very complicated from a back-end perspective, from a tech perspective, but our North Star is convenience. So we keep removing layers and layers and trying to make it simple for everybody to run their storefront, right? One of the critical steps to drive tech adoption in the Philippines is making sure that everybody can quickly access apps and utilize their phones. We've seen a massive boom in accessibility and affordability. Even for us at Lazada, we sell millions of phones every single year, and we see how everybody is so aware of the ecosystem today. They use different apps, and the ecosystem has been uplifted, right? At Lazada, we've been very committed to partnering up. So we're very proud to be part of this community. And we think that one of the best things that are lifting the economy forward is that there's a lot of traction happening across neobanks, across wallets, across the entire spectrum of tech logistics. So I remember the first time we had these e-commerce and tech meetings 10 years ago, we were like 3 people in the room trying to figure out what we wanted to build. Today, every time I go into these meetings, there are more than 5 large associations for e-commerce, for fintech. Every time we go into these meetings, we see hundreds of companies that are very well funded. Today, there's a lot of investment coming into the country, a lot of tech investors, and a lot of different verticals, right? We've faced numerous challenges over the past few years. One of the biggest challenges has been cash on delivery. And that's where, together with a lot of the wallets, we have strong partnerships with GCash, with Maya, and we also have our own wallet. We have been able to invest to take Filipinos from a cash-based economy to a cashless economy. So we have been able to reduce the importance of cash on delivery and to move and migrate most customers into the fintech world and the wallet world. Majority of our transactions today are actually using some form of electronic payment. And what we see is that as we evolve, new verticals like Pay Later, we launched our last Pay Later where people can easily borrow and access credit, or financing solutions for merchants are really propelling the economy forward. Fintech is one of the great equalizers because it allows everybody to borrow at a much, much easier, faster pace and lower rate, in general, without warranties and collaterals. So the way we think about Pay Later, we have a very accurate risk engine. We were talking earlier about data, inclusivity, and how data powers a lot of these things. The reality is that because we know people's customer experience, people's behavior, past purchases, we're able to underwrite loans that no bank will be able to underwrite because it will be very complicated and they will be asking for warranties. We're willing to do this as a value-add investment in the platform to get everybody to afford things that they cannot afford today. So we're seeing very strong momentum around financing, especially for appliances, for phones, for laptops. People use financing as a way to access these things that they will normally not be able to access. And the one thing that I'm personally the most excited about is the seller financing opportunity. I was mentioning earlier how there are more than 500,000 online businesses in the country. But the challenges that they're facing is that they cannot easily access financing. For them to become more professional, to become real businesses at scale, they need to be able to raise money and to finance their business. So we will be unveiling in the next few months a new set of solutions that will allow people to borrow through working capital loans in a very, very easy manner. We believe in a world where there are no gatekeepers. As a platform, we don't own our business. We're in the business of building businesses, right? So we're just hoping to connect these businesses with users. And ultimately, the one thing that we can do for all of them is to remove the friction and to enable them to grow their business. So we know the sales of a lot of these sellers, and we're constantly growing. The funniest thing is that even if e-commerce thing in the Philippines today, the e-commerce volume in the Philippines is more than $15 billion, it's the industry that's still growing at 30-40%. So all our sellers feel that they're playing catch up. Imagine a moment like today where everybody's stocking up for Christmas and they need to buy 2 or 3 months of goods ahead. They just cannot do this. And that's one of the things that we want to do for them, because we'll be able to give them the financing ahead, maybe 2-3 months working capital, so they can really boost their business and improve their margins, right? So our commitment to convenience also means utilizing tech to adjust our experience end to end. I'm proud to share that for all our riders, our thousands of riders with Lazada Logistics, Lazada Express, and all the riders that are working with us for our third-party logistics, we work with more than 10 logistics partners. All of them have their own app, are constantly maximizing their deliveries and their efficiency, and are completely digitalized, being able to remove a lot of the roadblocks and to mitigate the impact of the failed deliveries. When I first came here, we had a very, very high failed delivery rate because it was almost impossible to deliver in certain areas. The addresses that people give when they upload their Lazada address delivery are things like second corner after the basketball court when you see the orange house to the left. This is how we've had to map. But today, thanks to our integrated logistics solutions, we have the exact address of every single user, and we can geotag the addresses of these users and have smart routing so every rider can very, very quickly go to the right route and deliver much faster. This means much higher productivity for everybody and much, much lower failed delivery. And this is one of the most frustrating things that can happen online, but today has really been mitigated, right? Now, as we continue to invest and we want to amplify our presence in the Philippines, the next frontier is getting closer to the customer. So we have launched our priority delivery in Greater Metro Manila and Luzon. Today we're delivering within 48 hours in Metro Manila to make it much, much easier for people. Sometimes we don't even want them to think. We just want them to know that it's easier for them to buy online and to buy from Lazada than having to go somewhere else. But the next big frontier is investing nationwide to develop hundreds of hubs in the provinces so we can deliver faster and get much closer to the sellers and to the customers. This is our commitment, and we have been developing large infrastructures like sorting centers. We have one of the largest warehouses in the Philippines in Laguna with more than 80,000 square meters. It's what we call a 5-star warehouse where we can fulfill any type of item from Nike to the smaller sellers. And we offer this service to everybody in the Philippines because we believe that what's relevant is offering this so that people don't have to develop their own solutions. In an ideal world, we think that sellers should focus on running their business, having the best products, running their stores, and they should leave anything else, warehousing, inventory, planning, to Lazada, so we can give them that type of tailor-made solution where they don't have to worry about anything, right? And on top of that, we have been developing a lot of sorting solutions so that we can shorten the time that it takes from seller to customer. And we're very, very excited about this, right? But I want to talk a bit more about the experience, right? So convenience is always one of our North Stars, but we're also working on improving the experience end to end and doing things that nobody else has done in the Philippines. So our positioning has always been slightly aspirational. We want people to enjoy buying at Lazada and to feel proud of buying at Lazada. So convenience also means trust and knowing that you will be made whole when you buy with us. So we rolled out a lot of new solutions like money back guarantee. Whenever you have an issue with Lazada, thanks to the new journey and the app, the moment that you receive your item, you can just click that the item was not received as expected and you will be refunded. And then we will investigate and figure out what happened. And it also means that we have the best returns and refund experience, where we are constantly evaluating what happened and refunding buyers proactively to make sure that they don't have to worry and passing the problem to the platform where we investigate with our buyers, right? Now, I'm very excited about the next big trends, right? So when you look at the e-commerce situation in the Philippines today, we have grown very fast, but there are still certain areas that haven't been very, very digitalized. So today, the main industries where e-commerce has made a huge dent are electronics or fashion. But the next big frontier is FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods. So we have launched our own online supermarket last March, where we have more than 10,000 items that people can buy online. And we're very excited about the opportunity to digitalize the grocery space. And we're working very closely with all the largest pharmaceutical companies in the Philippines to launch Last Pharma. Today we're selling a lot of OTC medicines and a lot of different products, and we'll continue to evolve to really cover and get all the pharma closer to Filipinos in a much faster and convenient way, right? Now, for us, the only way to achieve all these things is by developing the right safety and security solutions. I really enjoyed the panel earlier because you can see how crime is always very, very hard to catch and to detect. And oftentimes what we see is that fraud in the Philippines is on the rise because the organizations are getting very, very advanced, and we need to take a step forward to be more proactive. So we have been leveraging the best technology from Alibaba to have instant and automated detection. Every single day, we deactivate tens of thousands of items, and we have AI screeners constantly browsing for all types of things. Products that may not have the best FDA license, we're looking for products that may not be compliant. We're screening for any item that may be not meeting the IP or like all the brand trademark laws, and constantly deactivating. We have blocked entire categories where nobody can upload without the approval of Lazada, the likes of vapes or the likes of products regulated by FDA. And then we're constantly screening and proactively removing tens of thousands of items every day and coordinating with the authorities to really go and target these networks to make sure that we do our part and we keep the platform safe. Now, this is very, very challenging because we have very tight policies, and these policies are not necessarily used by other players in the industry or by social media companies. But we take it as a commitment to keep the platform safe, and we want to always be the more compliant, the more proactive, and position ourselves as the company where everybody can trust, where everybody knows that we're going to do the right thing and that we can be reliable and of service. So this is very, very close to our heart. And we're constantly working proactively to target any illegal activities. We have signed MOU with different stakeholders on the property side, on the trademark side, and IPOL, and we will continue to work to showcase our efforts in preventing any challenges and cooperating with all the local stakeholders, right? So we will continue to play our role and to develop the industry to make sure that as e-commerce continues to grow 30 or 40%, we have the safest online space and we own the best possible experience for every Filipino. Thank you.
And now for our third speaker, ladies and gents, it's my pleasure to introduce National ICT Confederation of the Philippines, President Mary Joy Abueg.
Maraming salamat, Manila Times. I would like to also to extend our gratitude to Mr. Ang and Ms. Mercado. So, good morning, everyone. So, we are the National ICT Confederation of the Philippines, started in 2010 as a conference and now into a confederation with a 10 ICT council all over the Philippines. So we focus more on job development, infrastructure, and helping the local government in the countryside. There you go. So when we do the digital transformation, we need to comply with all of the following mandatory requirements, normative references, and here are, first is the RA 10844, which is the digital governance. NICP is doing digital governance to all local government units in appreciation of all their efforts into digitalization and innovation. So this we started as e-governance and then branded as Digital Cities PH, and now the Digital Governance Award. So aside from that, of course, with the Executive Order 605 of 2007 on Quality Management System, we are part of the Bureau of Philippine Standards when it comes to ISO certifications. So as one of the technical committee. And of course, when you do digitalization, it needs to have the Data Privacy Act. It needs to comply with the Data Privacy Act of 2000, that is 10173. In that thing that we help other LGUs in complying with the Data Privacy Act, as well as the awareness, yearly awareness of all the ICT councils from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So aside from that, another compliance in order to push through with the digital transformation is the ease of doing business. Right now, we have the law on RA 11032 for ease of doing business. Yearly, we have this ease of doing business as sharing of best practices in each local government units, the city, municipality, and the province itself. So this is recently our digital governance, wherein we together with the DICT, the Department of Information and Communications Technology, the DILG, the Department of Interior and Local Government, as well as the National ICT Confederation of the Philippines, wherein yearly we had this Digital Governance Award. So it is a project that recognizes another set of LGU units with their exemplary information and communications technology solutions. So for their local constituents, business stakeholders, and fellow government offices. So this is a venue wherein they can share their best practices to other LGU or local government units on their system, in their innovation, and then as well as their digital transformation practices. Okay, so what are the objectives of this digital governance? So first is to highlight and encourage the effective and efficient utilization of ICT in delivery of services and performance of duties and responsibilities by the local government. So aside from that, the best is to share and replicate innovative practices and concern, and commend, collate, and document local government in integrating ICT in their process to serve as example and benchmark of other LGU. So to improve business and development, social services, and general ecosystem of the LGU, and motivate the private and business sector to actively participate or invest in the growth of LGU. So just like one of the city here in the Philippines, presented by Mayor Isko during that time, and he said, during the time that we did not embrace digital transformation, the queue of business permit and licenses is from Manila City Hall to SM. So that's how long it is. And now we embrace digital transformation, digitalization. You can now register your permit or your business permit until 11:59 in the evening. Unlike before, until 5 p.m. So there's no queue, but they have 10 million revenue in 1 year. So that's a good start, right? When embracing digital transformation. And lastly is to improve or to promote citizen responsibility and participation, as well as accountability, efficiency, and transparency in governance, responsibility, and encourage innovation. This is how the freedom of information comes in. This is how the cybercrime law comes in, as well as the Data Privacy Act comes in. So these are the main categories when we recognize the digital governance. First is the customer empowerment, business empowerment, interoperability, and the government internal operations. So recently, through our partner Huawei, we award the champion, Rojas City, as one of the champion for digital governance. Okay, aside from that, we also do the Ease of Doing Business Forum that is yearly, no? In partnership, of course, with the DILG. So, together with other partners as well, wherein each of the cities and municipalities present their digitalization process, as well as sharing of their best practices. So why do we need to push through with this digital transformation? So in coordination with IBPAP, in which our partner and we closely work together with DICT and David Lichu, a real estate company, they said that based on their research, the IT-BPM sector has grown rapidly with a potential market value of 5.5% and headcount growth of 5% per annum. So, in 2002, Philippine industry contribute 29.11 billion to the economy, and that represents the 8% of gross domestic product. So, this is why DICT, together with the NICP and other agency, push through with the digital cities in order to help them with the digital transformation. So by 2025, these are the next digital cities, and by 2030, there will be another batch of 30 digital cities as also part of the ICT councils of the National ICT Confederation of the Philippines. Yan. Some of the examples of digital cities. So, if you're going to invest in a particular city, it is all available, downloaded, all their data within city and municipality when it comes to their talent development, when it comes to their ease of doing business, the cost like electricity, water, internet, and so on. So, as well as the data in every offices of the particular cities and municipality. It is now available online and downloadable. So that's good for business owners or business investors as well. Okay, aside from that, together with the Chamber of Commerce and NICP, we work closely with the talent development to push through with this digital transformation. We also launched the Innovation Summit, wherein we work hand in hand in order to give more capacity development in all ICT councils, not just in Mindanao, but in Luzon and Visayas as well. So that is Undersecretary Josel Batapa-Sige and Ms. Belinda Torres of the TESDA. Okay, recently we partnered with Cybersphere, and it's about the e-governance program of the Philippines, so as well as cybersecurity. So of course, when we embrace digital transformation, we also need to embrace cybersecurity and protection of data. So we also partner with the FinTech Alliance, Philippines, or Cybersec Philippines, And in order to create more talent, so we are also partner with the IT BPM or IBPOP Association, together with other association, the analytics, the cybersecurity, and Analytics Association and the Philippines and ICT Cybersecurity Association, together with TESDA as part of the industry board, wherein we need to create more talents for the IT BPM company. And another thing is we work together with the Digital Filipinas when it comes to digitalization as well as cybersecurity. So this is one of the examples of the activities wherein we also do awareness when it comes to data privacy. Of course, not just the ICT, also the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordination Center. So we support all of the initiatives of CICC when it comes to cybersecurity. So recently, together with the ICT Secretary, we launched the Customer Application Assurance Monitoring System. And top of that is Lazada. Lazada is always top on that monitoring system, which means it says very good. No? I saw that. Every day, top is Lazada. So, which means it's a very good app. So, aside from that, we also support the Cyber for Peace initiative with the Armed Forces of the Philippines. So, recently, with the cybersecurity group, together with the Canadian Embassy, of course, this is one of the example. Together, we work closely with the DICT together with the ICT councils. So right now, we have 127 ICT councils all over the Philippines. But we are pushing more because the LGU consists of 2,000 LGU in the Philippines, 2,000 plus. So right now, we are 127. So imagine, one ICT council can be 500 to 1,000 members. So this is duplicated not just in Puerto Princesa where I am residing, no? So Puerto Princesa is duplicated the Digital Careers Expo to other cities and other municipalities as well. So we are targeting to create more jobs because we have a target each city, like us, Puerto Princesa, we target 10,000 jobs by 2025. So imagine all these digital cities have their own target. So we need to build more digital careers. So aside from that, as I mentioned, ISO is also part of the digitalization. So being one of the technical committee for Bureau of Philippine Standards, as well as the DTI, BPS for approving all the standards that are for the Philippines as well. Yan. Of course, in order to spread out, we all know that the certification of cybersecurity is very costly. So, but together with the DICT, USAID, and NICP, not just NICP, as well as other association, we spread the cybersecurity, gender and development mainstream for information communication technology with USAID and NICP. So this is free, an entry-level cybersecurity certification for all government employees. Imagine, if you will get the certification, it costs 60,000, minimum of 60, or some are 35,000 for a particular certification, but this is free for all government, So yon. So here are the examples of some of the webinars for 2023. And next year, that will be the phase 2, or we call it episode 2 together with USAID. There will be a new topic for next year for phase 2. Aside from that, aside from DICT giving free Wi-Fi, we also partnered with the Pacific, wherein they provide free Wi-Fi to far-flung areas in the countryside, to to the islands with no internet. So this is how Pacific helped the areas in the countryside, especially those areas in the islands. No, right now in Palawan, they provided three free Wi-Fi for the far-flung areas or the island areas. So we also partnered with PhilPass, wherein we acknowledge or embrace digital certifications, and yeah, that's it, digital certifications. So as part of NICP, together with the other association, we pushed through for the executive order in Senate Bill 863 when it comes to critical information and infrastructure. So we need to boost this critical information and infrastructure so that the system will be protected with security and privacy. So another thing, together with some of my co-speaker here with Lito Villanueva, so we have a joint statement of support for the proposed Open Access and Internet Service Act. So in this case, it lowers the barriers and cost to market entry of internet network operators by simplifying registration and qualification process for providers and make broadband network development faster and more efficient by promoting infrastructure, sharing and streaming the approval process of permits to install broadband infrastructure. So why are we doing this? Because according to these telcos, as of 2023, there are 60,000 pending permit for the building of towers. Imagine 60,000 towers pending for 2023. So that is why we push through for this Open Access and Data Transmission Act. Now we wonder why our internet is low, is so slow, no? Because of that pending 60,000 permits for the towers. Okay. So again, together with the other associations and organizations, when we pushed through for the Data Transmission Act. So recently, as mentioned by DICT Secretary, we launched the eGov Super App in Malacanang. So since we are doing the ease of doing business as well as the e-governance and e-governance award for all local government units, we support the eGov Super App. So this is the launching during June 2 of 2023 as mentioned by our DICT Secretary. So yearly, we had this cluster conference, ClickCon for Luzon. Okay? In such a way, we unite all Luzon ICT Council for digital transformation. For Mindanao, ICT Conference, and the Visayas ICT Conference. So every year, we do all these 3 cluster events. And lastly is the National Summit held last November 8 and 9 when it comes to digital transformation and cybersecurity. So yesterday we had this data-driven governance competency framework wherein we pushed through all the LGU and other government agency when it comes to data-driven governance for digitalization as well. So this is in partnership with DICT and can be duplicated and will duplicated to other ICT councils, to other city, municipality, and provinces. So the NICP, what is our main secret or recipe or secret recipe? We, the NICP, we call ourselves magic. Why? Because making the academe, government, and industry collaborate. Because it's not just DICT who help us through the ecosystem, the national governments such as DTI, DOST, TESDA, and CHED, together with the DILG and other government agency, help together in order to create this, what we call magic.
Thank you, Ms. Abueg, for that very empowering message. It's nice to know that there are people like her taking care of the ICT business here in the Philippines. For our next speaker, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Marlon Soromon.
There are two types of organizations that exist in our cyberspace, no? In this very challenging cyber threat landscape. The first organization are the one who has experienced cyber attack and has experienced costly breaches. When I say costly breaches, it could impact NPC, data privacy, and security breach. The second organization is the one who are expecting to be attacked or to be successfully encountering a cyber attack which could compromise their systems and eventually lead to a potential fine, regulatory, and some other worse impact, no, in terms of infrastructure and systems failure and downtime. So which organization or company you belong, guys? It could be your company, my company, or everyone else organization. Again, good afternoon. I am Marlon Soromon. I am the CISO of Maybank Philippines and formerly a CISO also of Maybank New York, but due to circular guidance released by BSP, I was forced to leave the post. My topic for today is about cyber resiliency, how to cope up during crisis of cyber attack and incident that could adversely impact your infrastructures and system. Okay? So, we cannot discount, and we can always see, everywhere else in newspapers, conferences, even in panels or sessions, left and right, ransomwares, even if you recall what happened to PhilHealth, how there are data breaches, and they were summoned by NPC, DILG, and DICT to explain what was happened. Not only PhilHealth, there are several banks that were also affected. Our challenging the most challenging part of organization is to help counter these common attacks which are most concerned about. Okay? So number one is ransomware. Ransomware is simply like when you encountered a virus in the past, it just disrupts a system. Now 10 to 15 years ago, the motivation of attackers just simply slow down your system, infect your system with a virus and a Trojan. But they are not stealing your money. Right now, it's different. The intention is inflict your systems with a malicious software. Then when you open your systems, you can see a ransomware message asking you for money, because if you cannot pay a ransom, they will publish your information in the dark web. Dark web is a different type of gameplay, no? These are informations that are normally unauthorized access and was provided by hackers with an intention of inflicting damage to organization due to regulatory or compliance issues. Number two is malicious insiders. These are common among banks. That's why it's important that we do a background investigation of our employee so they can collude with attackers. And if I can just share something, there was also a post in dark web. They are asking an information security professional working in a bank or a CISO to collude with them, and they're going to give them $2 million. Imagine the pay, yung perang ibibigay sa CISO just to collude with those attackers. So this is very important to do some or conduct some due diligence in your employees. Before you hire someone, make sure that they are being cleared, background investigation, and check yung mga previous employer's history niya. Okay? Social engineering and fraud, this is also one of the most challenging I would say, day-to-day thing that we always encounter. During our review of our top risks, fraud risk is one of the top risks that was commented by our board that should be invested heavily, in terms of security automation and integration. So later on, I would explain much more about these controls and technologies. Third-party supply chain is about vendor management. We have partners, we have vendors that work together to make sure operational sustainability within banks are achieved in a more resilient and stable manner. So they are also important to conduct due diligence. So these are the most common kind of cyber challenges that we encounter. Now, allow me to give you some insights, valuable insights, on how to overcome these challenges by introducing a cyber resilient structure or strategy. Okay? Our current cybersecurity threat landscape remains dynamic and challenging. There are several adversaries that has already emerged. Imagine the introduction of generative AI and machine learning. They are using AI to introduce a more sophisticated attack. Using AI, you can simply automate an attack, and it can generate a simple phishing or spear phishing in seconds. For example, I can ask AI, how can I send a phishing email to Manila Times? It can generate an answer in seconds. Then can you help me create a phishing email like I'm a employee of Manila Times sending to all employees of Manila Times that they are not going to receive a bonus. Okay? So imagine if you receive that kind of email that you're not receiving a bonus, panic ka. So it's a behavioral and psychology kind of attack. Definitely, some of you will click the link. Okay, so example lang po yun, but it's effective, by the way. Yeah? So, creating this kind of sophistication will make our work our work difficult, if you're not prepared or you're not anticipating this kind of threats. That's why CISO, information security professionals, are heavily investing, especially sa banks. We are what we call yung trailblazer. I know Sir Lito is a trailblazer in terms of digital transformation, not only in financial but in our country. But historically, banks, because we are heavily regulated by VSP, so we introduced itong sometimes mga unang klaseng mga technology to put or in place controls to help combat itong mga security and fraud kinds of attacks. But DXC technology, this is just an information that I captured from an article in a weekly IT magazine article. Resiliency cannot be achieved by creating process and technology alone. Okay? What makes an organization resilient is the people. So in charge of its assets and its data. So I believe firmly that there are three pillars that we need to maintain, and to make it stable, you have to put balance into three pillars: the people, the process, and technology. So they always equate. Without people, no one will manage your process and your technology. Without technology, people can no longer use tools. They cannot utilize tools to support these processes. Without processes, you don't have standards or policies you need to follow so that you can define a universal sets of practices. So this should equate. So para siyang triangular kinds of pillars. So in terms of transformation, these three pillars as well are important. Okay? Now, to become more resilient, there's what we call proactive strategy. So we try to transition from reactive to a proactive strategy, and it becomes a more status quo kind of processes. Okay? Now, as a result, financial industry started to look more effective ways on how to become more resilient. I used to recall in the past, there are so many manual processes that we do in banking. Lalo na yung patch management namin, review ng firewall, wala pang enterprise architecture, no? IT architecture and security architecture. So, simply define, parang nagde-design ka ng isang building na merong security in place, no, before you build that building. So, right now, we call it security by design. So, these are some of the things that help us identify yung mga organizational profile namin in terms of being a resilient organization. So, what's the benefit of being a cyber resilient organization? Sorry pa, please bear with my throat, no? I'm having problem. So, these are the benefits of a cyber resilient organization, of course, no? Banking kasi, sometimes we tend to innovate and introduce something that would allow our client to be more interested in our products. But somehow, when we try to innovate and introduce itong mga transformation, we compromise a lot of things, especially yung mga securities. But of course, itong mga klase ng initiatives, we can always put balance into that by simply looking a strategy that won't compromise customer centricity. So it is important na while you innovate, you introduce products and attracts customer, do not compromise controls. Why? Because we also tackle several areas, like we want to reduce financial losses by combating fraud. We want also to achieve legal and regulatory compliance like BSP, NPC, DICT. Then, we want also to improve our security culture and internal process and protect the bank's reputation. Okay? So, what is our focus right now? Okay? To become more resilient, we focus more on better detection and proactive strategy, which is a key part of our cyber resilience program. So later on, as I move forward with my presentation, I will introduce some strategy that allow you guys, once you go home and muni-muni kayo, whether what I've said is really something that you have to perform in your organization or put in place in your company. But before I proceed, let me just describe you what is cyber resilience. No? Cyber resilience, according to World Economic Forum, which I get from the article, no, version 2022, so it is the ability of the organization to anticipate, withstand, recover from, and adapt to any stress, failures, hazards, and threats to its cybersecurity resources within the organization and its ecosystem. Okay, so in short, just remember lang itong 4 word: anticipate, withstand, recover from, and adapt to. So it's like, sa personal opinion ko, it's like a company grit, no? Grit is your ability to recover from any challenging situation. Once you encounter that, you know how to do something, you know how to improvise, and later on recover from it. So, yan yung tinatawag naming cyber resiliency. Now, it has so many aspects. It also needs a holistic approach from top to bottom. Okay? Okay. Now, I'm not trying to tell everyone here that what I'm doing in Maybank is perfect. But based on my 20 years of experience, these are the most common strategy that we put in place, not just in financial, but also other industry. And I know some security practitioners knows this well. Okay? So how to achieve a cyber resilient culture? This equates the 3 pillars. It includes the people, includes technology, and includes the processes. The first thing that you have to put in mind is always invest in technology. Why? Big chunk of our cybersecurity controls are driven by technology. wala pong antivirus na manual. So, normally, it's automated. So, when it comes to automation, IT lang po ang pwede mag-support niya. So, when it comes to IT, it's technology-driven. Then, yung mga sinatawag nating firewall, IPS, and other technology devices that allows us to put controls and evaluate our security risks, those are driven by technology. Next is crown jewels. So continuous risk assessment, cyber incident response, awareness, proactive risk management, crisis management, governance and compliance, and third-party risk management. So these are areas that I would say critical for the organization to make them resilient in terms of cyber attack and incident response. Let me give you some brief concept on what are those technology tools that I was referring earlier. Okay? So, invest in technology and adopt a zero trust principle. Medyo bago po yung zero trust, no? When you say zero trust, don't trust anyone unless they are verified and validated. Then, i-combine nyo pa ng mga technology controls such as multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication simply defines once you're authenticated, you ask again another level of authentication. Yan yung nakikita nyo minsan na OTP or mga SMS, additional verifier, no, to allow you to access something. That's what we call MFA, multi-factor authentication. Email and web filtering security. Sometimes it's hard for you to send an email, it's blocked. You cannot access your personal email because it's blocked. So those are controls that are normal to banking industry, and sometimes there are exceptions for that, especially yung mga VIPs, no? Then, endpoint detection and response, ito yung mga antivirus, anti-malware, mga EDR. So these are common controls that we put in our desktop, laptops, and other productivity devices. Privilege and access management, I know some of the IT guys here knows about access management, and you have this super user, super administrator, root administrator. So it's important that we manage those access level as well. Okay? Security baseline and hardening before you deploy your server, dapat harden siya. Meron siyang tinatawag na hardening guidelines. Okay? This is too technical. I'm so sorry about sharing this if some of you cannot really apprehend, no? But these are technical terms that I use because these are technology-driven type of initiatives. Then SIEM or log correlations allows you to have a visibility on what's happening to your computers. Alam nyo ba na when you establish a security operations center, someone is looking at your computer. You just don't know it. So merong mga in-install na agent doon, they're looking at your computers, not by the way, no, look what you do, but they are looking on those risk area ng PC nyo that might compromise those devices. Pero hindi nila, they are not looking on what you're doing, hindi nila yung concern. They're just looking for what's happening in your device. Baka meron diyang naka-infect ng machines. Okay? Obsolescence in monitoring, it is important to monitor your outdated servers, computers, and devices. So when I say outdated, the current version of Windows is 11 and you're using Windows 7. So it's impossible, no? Windows 7 is highly vulnerable na. You have to replace it. So it's important as well to monitor those obsolescence devices. Okay? Then identify your crown jewels. When I say identify your crown jewels, each company has different types of risk profile. When I say risk profile, what are your most critical assets? In banking, our most critical assets, of course, is the money of our customer. We also have customer account number, personally identifiable information, and other information na once leaked, we are liable to our regulators. So we have different guidelines, standards set by regulators to help secure those information that I've shared. No? Then there are also other companies na meron silang crown jewels like sa Meralco, utility company. They are not merely concerned about information but mostly on operations. Okay, so yun yung assets nila. So it's important that you know your valuable assets so that you know how to protect your assets. Okay? Then, similarly, in cybersecurity, you cannot detect, remediate vulnerabilities if you don't know and if you cannot see those assets. Continuous risk assessment is also a practice among financial industry. That's why sometimes we hire third party to conduct security audit, because it's better that someone from outside telling us what's wrong with us rather than someone inside telling me what's wrong with me. Okay? So hindi siya parang nawalan siya ng check and balance. You cannot audit yourself. So it's better that someone from outside your organization telling you what's wrong with your practices and processes. Now, once you identify risk, make sure you have to classify your risk according to your severity. Once you have these assets, identify the risk of your assets, group them accordingly, according to criteria and severity, classify them on high, medium, low. So from there, you can prioritize your risk and define a roadmap which risk you're going to remediate early or as soon as possible. So meron diyang mga low-hanging fruits. What? Or just I've said earlier, meron kayong obsolete na Windows 7. Then you have Windows 10. Then meron na ring Windows 11. Definitely, you need to prioritize Windows 7 because that is the most high risk. Then secondary na lang siguro yung Windows 10 because that's one way, no? I mean, one down version pa lang ng Windows 11. So, these are just some examples, no, on how you prioritize your risk. Okay? Then, remediation also needs timeline. You need to provide the board and the management what's your program in remediating those risks. By the way, I don't know if Manila Times as well do this, no? Itong vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. This is important to test your security infrastructure, how stable and how can evade, no, itong mga cyber attacks. So when you say vulnerability assessment, ito yung practice where you identify what are your weakest points and vulnerability points. Then you try to penetrate it. So once you can penetrate it, report it to the management. These are our loopholes and we need to fix this immediately. So you need to define processes and policies in order to do that. So these are common practices na we do in banking. This is also important. This is where you can actually evaluate the measure of your cyber resiliency. This is what we call the incident monitoring and response. So in case incident happens, you must be ready on how to resolve the issue. And you must build capability and capacity. Para bang you write a document telling the management, yes, we are capable and we have the capacity, but when management asks, saan yung capability mo, you don't have people. Okay? So, you must realize that before you tell board of management that our CSERT and monitoring procedures are really indeed qualified to respond to this kind of incident, make sure what you're telling them is true. Because when BSP comes in and challenge you, where is your cyber drill, where's the result of your cyber drills, and it does not really reflect the true meaning of incident response, you're obligated to be accountable to the management. Okay, so marami na pong ganyang kuro-kuro, no? We have a CSERT, we have a BCP, we have DRP, but when you tested it, hindi siya effective because you don't have the capacity and capability. Okay? Well, of course, no, it's the objective is to minimize damage and prevent future cyber attacks. Conduct regular testing of your CSERT drill or simulation. So, a few weeks back, we have our CSERT drill. We simulate that we have a breach already. So we assume breach. So what did we do? Of course, we know our assets. We know where these assets stored, managed, and processed. So basically, once you have the inventory of your crown jewels, you know exactly where is your ultimate protection. So pag na-breach ka, ibig sabihin yan, your circle of protection, somebody comes into that ultimate assets that they're trying to protect. Hindi naman mag-a-attack ang hacker sa assets na useless. They will definitely attack the most critical assets of the company. Okay, so make sure lang na when they try to infiltrate your circle of protection, pahirapan po natin sila. No? Put as many controls dun sa critical jewels natin. Okay? Then document, when you do the drill, document all the lessons learned and continuously improve that. Okay, cyber awareness, this is very important. People is our weakest link, but if you give them the right knowledge and mindset, and they can discern the threats on their own, they could become your greatest allies. For example, you have 2,000 employees, and all of them are educated. You don't need any kind of technology controls, because when they open the laptop and they saw and they understand that this is a threat, sasara lang nila yung laptop nila, di nila papansinin. So what's the risk, right? So sometimes the most weakest part of our organization is the people. So we just continue to educate and educate our users. Proactive risk management, this is more on investing in technology with predictive analysis. So this is where AI and machine learning takes place. Okay, so AI can predict something because it has a lot of data. But this is somehow expensive, no? If you try to explore this, you need to have a good infrastructure, which is the foundational baseline on how to set up itong mga security automation and machine learning platform. Then you need to also proactively analyze rather than contain. Okay. Crisis management, business continuity, and DRP is also critical to the bank. So strategize, plan, and conduct this BCP testing regularly. Okay. Governance and compliance, this is about leadership, tone at the top. So make sure your investment, your technology are supported so that when you deploy it, no challenge at all. Hindi kayo challenge. And lastly, the vendor management. Before you onboard a vendor, dapat you need to conduct due diligence because they might compromise your system. Okay? Baka sila pa yung dahilan bakit kayo na-compromise. So third-party risk management is important. Okay? Sorry. Oh, I'm done? Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I think that's it. I was about to end, guys. So, okay, this is my last presentation. So, this is about third-party risk management. So, I have a Q&A. Yeah.
Thank you, CISO Marlon. We'll be inviting you again on stage after our fifth and last speaker for the final fireside chat.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, sorry. Before I end, I would like to thank Manila Times to give me this opportunity to be part of this event. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for a very, very insightful presentation. And like what Mr. Sorongon said, it's no longer possible to prevent the cyber attacks nowadays. It's impossible. So we have to be proactive and we have to be ready to prevent all of these cyber attacks.
And now for our fifth and final talk for the day. Our final speaker is the chairman of the board and of the Alliance of Digital Finance Associations. So ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege to present RCBC Chief Innovation and Inclusion Officer, Lito Villanueva.
Thank you so much, and of course, hindi mapahindian ang invitasyon ni Klink at of course si Blanca. At sabi nga nila, there's no such thing as free lunch. That's why dapat magtrabaho dito ngayon. Again, good afternoon to everyone, and of course to most of you here who are practically familiar faces. Thank you most especially to the Manila Times for inviting me as one of your guest speakers for this year's Digital Transformation Forum. As you may know, this is my buzz phrase. Apart from financial inclusion, digital transformation is what fuels me to do what I do every day. I am honored to be amongst fellow thought leaders, innovators, and reputable industry experts here who each bring to the table their own invaluable insights and expertise of where the Philippines' digital economy is heading. In the ever-evolving landscape of fintech, it is important to regularly tune in on what's been working, what hasn't, and what we can improve on moving forward. As I take just a quick look around this room, I can see your faces listening to me at the present, but I can bet that many of your minds are wandering off to the future. Don't worry, no judgment. It's human nature to always wonder and look towards what's ahead. It's humanity's survival mechanism. What I am eating later, what time do I have to be there, what's on my agenda tomorrow, what do I have to prepare? Our minds' gears are always turning. In this industry, it's the same. We are always thinking of what we can achieve in the future. How do we accomplish progress, growth, and development? Our efforts all point to building the unforeseeable future. We rely on trends, predictive analytics, reports, and forecasts to guide our direction. The present is crucial because the future is the end goal. To navigate the complexities of digital transformation in our industries, it is first necessary to take an overarching snapshot of the state of Philippine fintech, the realities, challenges, achievements, and opportunities for improvement. Understanding our target market and the pain points of the underserved and unbanked Filipinos we intend to serve is key in fostering digital transformation and financial inclusion. Just this month, the Philippines stepped into the spotlight with the grand exhibit of Bagong Pilipinas, the Philippines Country Pavilion, at the Singapore FinTech Festival, regarded as one of the world's most influential fintech events. In fact, it was attended by over 70,000 participants from 150 countries. We had the opportunity to demonstrate Filipino skills, talents, and ingenuity, and also highlight the country as a bright spot for digitalization and finance on the global stage. Our dream future is hope, H-O-P-E. We need to be hands-on, open, persistent, and empathetic. To be hands-on requires on-the-ground immersion and first-hand discoveries, getting down to the nitty-gritty and the realities of the world, no matter how harsh they may be. To ensure that our innovations will bear a positive impact on communities, we must listen and they must feel heard. When we connect, they cooperate. When we communicate, they trust. In the Philippines, we have always struggled with a severely underserved Filipino adult population. Several geographically disadvantaged regions, conflict areas, and low-income rural communities have little to no access to the internet, financial literacy, and even basic financial services. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas reported that the number of unbanked Filipino adults in 2019 was 71% of the total adult population. This urged the BSP to craft the National Strategy for Financial Inclusion and the Digital Payments Transformation Roadmap, which has twin targets to onboard 70% of our adult Filipinos into the formal banking system and convert 50% of retail financial transactions to digital by end of this year. The good news is that we are set to surpass these targets by the end of 2023. And thanks to the entire ecosystem of industry players. In just 2 years, fintech saw a significant boom. According to a study by McKinsey, the rate of account ownership climbed exponentially to 56% in 2021 from just 29% in 2019. This means we banked over 17 million Filipinos. The Philippines has one of the fastest population growth rates worldwide, and the bankable population is projected to rise from 65 million in 2022 to about 85 million by 2030, and that is about a 30% increase. The number of digital retail payments also surged from 30% in 2021 to 42% in 2022. In fact, 6 out of 10 Filipinos altered their behaviors in the past 3 years to integrate digital services into their lives. Next, we must capitalize on being open-minded, open to every challenge as an opportunity for growth, and always open to collaborate. The present and future of fintech is largely built by prioritizing public infrastructure through government collaborations and expanding our digital services to appease the ever-evolving, hyper-specific needs of our countrymen. The current administration has made digital infrastructure a top priority, and President Marcos Jr. certified key legislative bills in digitalization as urgent, such as the Open Access in Data Transmission Act, Internet Transaction Act, E-Governance, and Critical Information Infrastructure Act to improve digital accessibility, governance, and cybersecurity. This year, we have proudly released the annual FinTech Philippines Report 2023. It is a prized resource material of even legislators, policymakers, academe, researchers, investors, and foreign missions in the country. It captures the evolution of the country's fintech industry and the impact of the individual and collective activities of all players have on the lives and dreams of Filipinos. According to this report, the Philippines is seeing substantial growth in banking and connectivity. From 2022, we've already seen a 9.2% increase in deposit accounts, which stands at 93.2 million, and 41 million active e-money accounts. This is good news, and we know that Filipinos are never without their smartphones, Facebook accounts, and even, of course, TikTok dances now. We have the most number of TikTok accounts in the Philippines or in the region right now, or in the world practically. And of course, you can now also make payments via TikTok, by the way. But unfortunately, for markets such as Indonesia, they actually banned the use of payments via TikTok. And most likely, Philippines and other markets in the ASEAN region would follow suit. So we tap into this behavioral fact. Smartphones have penetrated 85% of the population, with about 97.5% of them mobile broadband connection users. That's about 84.75 million internet users and counting. Through the National Economic Development Authority, or through their National Economic Development Plan, the Securities and Exchange Commission, of course, together with the BSP, the government has achieved its fintech targets, which is 5 years in advance. We now have 285 fintechs as of 2023. This feat is a testament to the collaborative efforts of stakeholders across the financial ecosystem. We have also remained persistent. Hurdles are inevitable and roadblocks are expected. But we must power through, because the global and Philippine outlook are both promising. Digital banks and digital-centric apps are being used by 38% of the population for online payments, 21% use them for lending, 11% for remittance, and 9% for e-wallets. With these statistics, we have a better grasp of what matters to most Filipinos and their banking priorities. Listening to our audience is key in improving our services. The future involves cultivating a digital financial ecosystem that's robust and dynamic and built on innovation. Regulators in the Philippines are laying the groundwork for digital-first business models, introducing new digital banking licenses, creating real-time payment systems, and establishing a standardized QR code payment network, which is called QRPH. Updated eKYC, digital identification, and verification are also enforced for digital banks, and this is for better safety and security during the customer onboarding process. In fact, just 2 weeks ago, during the first Cashless Expo, together with the DTI and the BSP, they introduced a campaign for interoperable payments called Scan na All. Scan na All. Oo, mahirap lang pag naging scam na all. Oo, di ba? So scan na all because that is part of the education amongst Filipinos that you could actually make use of your any bank or e-wallet app to scan any QR. Kasi the idea before is that once they see a GCash QR in any merchant, ang isipin ng tao nung customer, dapat I have to have a GCash account as well. Hindi siya pwedeng GCash to GCash lang. So it's actually GCash to any to GCash. So practically it's interoperable. You may have a rural bank app, and you could actually scan a Maya app, a Maya QR, a GCash QR, an RCBC QR, a BPI QR, a Metrobank QR, etc. etc. Kaya ang campaign ngayon is scan na all. Okay. As I've said, wag naman sanang maraming scam na all. Again, transactions through the BSP's InstaPay and PesoNet gateways have significantly increased by the end of September 2023 with a 30% rise in transaction value reaching about 9.2 trillion pesos and a 40.5% increase in transaction volume totaling 638 million transactions from January to September this year. The fintech market is expected to grow by $44 billion by 2024. And the Philippine government has been beefing up its investments into digital to transform the country into a digital hotspot. In his second State of the Nation address, or SONA, by President Marcos Jr., he mentioned that the digital economy generated about 2 trillion pesos, which is about a tenth of the country's GDP. The fintech industry is forecast to continuously grow as the Philippines aims to be a $1 trillion economy by 2033. And this is a study according to S&P Global Market Intelligence. And at the end of the day, progress and hope is nothing without its last letter, and that is E for empathy. Technology is a transformation driver. If leveraged well and ethically, it creates empathy-driven and human-centric solutions. We must continue to solicit feedback from partners and valuable clients to sharpen our approaches and ensure that they are relevant to the concerns and lifestyles of the market. At RCBC, we prioritize delivering innovations with empathy. And from there, RCBC's hypergrowth became one for the books. We leapfrogged from being 8th in ranking in terms of assets among privately held unibanks in 2018 to 5th by end of 2022. We did it in barely 4 years and at the height of the pandemic. Our assets grew 23% to over $29 billion and our net income soared by 71% to $294 million. We have also seen an 8% increase in loans and a 28% increase in deposits. Of course, we have also found, during the pandemic, at the height of the lockdowns, we are the only organization that has actually seen an investment coming from Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation, or SMBC, having 20% equity shareholdings into RCBC that translates to about $428 million. And in fact, that was the biggest announcement made, or a PR coup made during the Singapore FinTech Festival during last year's event. So we have garnered global recognition by prestigious award-giving bodies. And among the greatest accolades RCBC bagged this year is the Best Bank for Digital by Asia Money for the 4th consecutive year. Asia Money said in a statement, and I quote, "When it comes to digital solutions, RCBC remains the bank to beat," unquote. We have also received the Eye on Innovation Award by Gartner, YouTube Challenger Award for our viral and out-of-the-box digital ad campaigns, generating combined views of over 17 million in over a couple of days. Grand Champion for Digital Payments and Financial Inclusion by the Bankers Institute of the Philippines, or BIFIL, and triple wins in our marketing efforts in the recent Bank Marketing Association of the Philippines Awards, and ranked number 1 in the Philippines Best Customer Service 2023 survey by the Philippine Daily Inquirer and global research firm Statista. These are just a few of over 100 local, regional, and global awards we reaped in the last 4 years. We built digital platforms for a wide range of customers. Empathy means considering the needs, pain points, and desires of the people you serve in order to uplift and empower their lives as best as you can. First, we have RCBC Pulse, RCBC's primary banking app, launched just this year, and it is our one-stop shop, all-in-one digital banking app that offers the widest range of digital services, such as the country's first digital in-app UITF, where you can manage and place new investments within the app, mobile check deposit, foreign exchange for 6 major foreign currencies in real time, spend analyzer, and coming very soon are actually loans. In fact, we're also the first bank to allow our 12 million overseas Filipino workers to open RCBC Pulse accounts anywhere they are in the world using the international mobile numbers. So it even allows digital account opening, as I've said, by our OFWs. In fact, we just launched that about 2 days ago. And again, this is more about hyper-personalized initiative in terms of offering our respective customers. RCBC Discartec is the world's first multilingual financial inclusion super app in the vernacular Tagalog English or Taglish and Cebuano languages that makes financial services such as savings, fund transfers, telemedicine, and insurance and loans accessible to more Filipinos. And of course, it holds a very competitive annual savings rate of 6.5%. And by the way, starting December, of course, 12/12, iba yung 12/12 namin hindi sale. 12/12 because we will be waiving the InstaPay fees. Yay, 12/12. So 12/12, we will be waiving InstaPay fees for transfers 1,000 and below. So yung magpapa-aginaldo, wala na silang additional InstaPay fees. Oo. So sakto, buong-buo makukuha ng mga inaanak niyo 1,000 pesos. Anyway, so and these are some of the things that we've been doing, by the way, and this, in fact, we grew this Discartec volume by as much as 245% year-on-year based on our gross transaction value. And we also delivered RCBC ATM Go, the Philippines' first bank-agnostic, last-mile and grassroots-oriented mobile point-of-service ATM service to Filipinos in need of basic financial assistance. ATM Go is conveniently located in community hotspots like mga palengke, sari-sari stores, transportation hubs, drugstores, even co-ops and rural banks. And RCBC is the only private unibank in the Philippines with 100% coverage of all the provinces nationwide, 96% coverage of all cities, and 51% coverage of all municipalities. And take note that by next year, we will be covering 100% of all cities and 100% of all municipalities. And in fact, we have grown the number of terminals deployed by as much as 700% by end of this year versus last year. In fact, we have also rolled out the terminal in Turtle Island, which is the southwestern tip of the Philippines. And that is it will only take you 30 minutes by boat to go to Sabah, Malaysia. Yeah, and then another one is in Pag-asa in Babuyan Islands, which will take you about 45 minutes to Taiwan. So we are the first bank to have those services for our people in those areas. And again, 96% of ATM Go transactions are outside the Philippines National Capital Region, 65% are rural women users, and 61% are transactions for government's Social Amelioration Program or CCT or Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program. And ATM Go is enabling millions of Filipinos to receive government payments and assistance easily. During the pandemic, we disbursed over 21 billion pesos to 5.6 million families, and that is approximately 28 million individuals. ATM Go terminals are also strategically stationed in geographically isolated, disadvantaged, and conflict areas, such as in Busuanga, Coron, Culion in Palawan Province, and armed conflict areas such as in Lake Cebu in South Cotabato in Region 12. And of course, we're the only bank that is also present across all the 5 provinces in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. For SME owners and entrepreneurs, we unveiled just this month what we call RCBC BOSS. In fact, dati to RCBC BOSS, BOSS. Nag-file ng complaint si Yugo Boss. Kaya ginawa namin, ayaw nyo, sige, boss na lang, BOZ. So pumayag na sila. Kasi Z is also Gen Zenners, di ba? Gen Z. That's why our other app is called RCBC Pulse with a Z. To make all our apps awesome. Di ba? So it is our newest all-in app for small business owners where they can prepare e-invoices, manage payroll, set budget, financial goals, and do fund management all in one app. And of course, we have seen the growth of RCBC. In fact, the 7-year compounded annual growth rate of all our products have recorded about 113% for RCBC Pulse and 86% for RCBC ATM Go. And just to give you a concluding statement about my presentation this afternoon, our main thrust as a financial institution is banking with a heart and delivering digital forward services in innovative products that cater to the specific needs and struggles of our kababayan. Again, let me state this: combining the power of revolutionary digital solutions and meaningful human relationships is the future of fintech. To allow a digital forward, cash-like country to flourish, the industry must be focused on creating pioneering, high-impact, and human-centric digital financial innovations. Again, to everyone here this afternoon, let us remember that the future is built on HOPE. Hope. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you very much for sharing all of that. That was a lot to unpack.
Thank you so much, Jing and Ben, and of course, our honored guests, Mr. Lito Villanueva and Mr. Marlon Sorongon, for such a very fruitful discussion. Katulad nga ng sinabi nila, the fourth, malayo na ang narating ng fintech sa atin, pero malayo pa ang tatahakin.
Pero like was mentioned earlier, there is hope, especially with we have people staying with us to listen and to share and to be able to know more about the next steps that we can take with the outlook toward 2024.
With this Blake and this token, our chairman and CEO and our president and COO, thank you for rounding off and completing our talks on digital transformation with an outlook on 2024.
So again, thank you Maybank CISO, Marlon Sorongan, and RCBC Chief Innovation and Inclusion Officer Lito Villanueva.
Ang dami kong natutunan today, the fourth, especially on cybersecurity. So we have to be preventive, and digital transformation really is the future. The Manila Times thanks you all and all our speakers for making our digital transformation forum a truly transformative experience.
And we're grateful to all our guests and viewers online also for joining the conversation about tech trends and financial forecasts. I'm your co-host, Deport Vigasaran.
And I'm Ezra Raya. Maraming salamat po.
Have a great day ahead. Thank you very much.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
Subscribe to SMNI News Channel and turn on the notification bell to keep you up to date. Also visit our official social media accounts and join our community on Viber and Telegram.